That was what a Heisman moment looked like. Fernando Mendoza leading the Hoosiers from behind to win at Penn State. Unbelievable. Now remaining undefeated, now 10-0. Unbelievable. But Penn State losing 6 in a row as well. I need a moment, but we don't. We're going live right now. Get your reaction to all this. Get my reaction to all this. Oh, we got a big one with Oregon and Iowa kicking off as well. Join us for a live version here of Locked On Big Ten.
You are Locked On Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Big Ten Live. I'm Craig Sheeman. 40 years as a sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer, and I want to thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. We are free wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube as well, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, the number one sports podcast network in the world. That's your team every day. Hit that free subscribe button if you're brand new. We do this every day. All things Big Ten. We'll get to this. If you could also share, like, and follow, that helps us out too. Plus, you can hype YouTube videos as well. We'll recap every team, every game. We'll preview the ones that are about ready to kick off. But let's do this. Indiana, number 2 in the nation, undefeated at Penn State. You know the story at Penn State, how the wheels have fallen off. James Franklin got fired. And I kept telling you for the last 2 weeks on this podcast, I said, wait, Penn State was once ranked number 2 in the country like Indiana is now. They have a lot of talent on that football team. And one of these Saturdays, they were going to wake up from that nightmare they've been going through. And for the most part, today was that day. So I thought from the beginning, Penn State was able to, push Indiana back a little bit. Seemed like they could get the yardage on the ground before Ethan Grunkemeyer was able to warm up and make some passes down the field. But both teams started out the first 4 drives between them, 4 punts, 2 drives, 2 punts for each team. Then Fernando Mendoza on Indiana's 3rd drive found Charlie Becker for a 53-yard pass downfield to the 15-yard line. Remember, Elijah Surratt, their number 1 receiver, out with a hamstring today. And if it wasn't for Becker, I don't know what they would have done. And then Mendoza runs it in. He's very capable of being a runner in select moments. Ran it in for an 18-yard score. Indiana takes a 7-0 lead. By the way, at this point, it's pretty late in the first quarter. Indiana has scored in the first quarter of every game this year. It looked like they might not for a while here. Again, we go to the second quarter. I think Penn State's running backs were effective. It seemed like a lot of 5- and 6-yard gains. And then Ethan Grunkemeyer got comfortable, found Trevor Pena. He had a big day today, had a 45-yard gain down to the Indiana 13-yard line. They had converted on a big 4th down on a drive earlier there. Nick Singleton, his first of 3 touchdowns today, punching it in. And all of a sudden, this game is tied early in the second quarter. And that crowd is getting fired up. See, here's the difference. Last week, Penn State played a pretty good half at Ohio State, and we're only down by 3. But then when Ohio State got going, the Ohio State crowd kind of took control. The Buckeyes took control. The crowd was into it, all that. This game was at home, and I thought if Penn State could hang or have a good first half or have any good moments, they could get this crowd going, because this crowd was just as desperate to see something good happen for this Penn State football team this year, and that would be hard for Indiana to overcome. And then Mendoza was under pressure all day. He's getting sacked. There was one time here he got sacked in the second quarter, but there was a defensive holding on Penn State that let the Hoosiers off the hook there. He had the complete pass to the first down for Becker on that little sidearm throw he had. First down to the Penn State 5-yard line. Then he got sacked, and on 3rd and 12, there's a false start. Indiana backing up to the 17-yard line, so they have to settle for a field goal here. Penn State's defense was pretty good a lot of this game. So Indiana's up 10-7 now with 2.5 minutes to go in the half. Then you remember, you talk about a game of inches. Penn State's got the ball, and Katron Allen fumbled the ball right before his knee hit the ground. The ball had come out. Aiden Fisher recovered it. His first of 2 turnovers that he got. One was a fumble recovery here, and then the interception later on. So because of that fumble, it happened with 1:09 left in the half. Indiana gets the ball back. Remember, Joel Klatt was wondering why Indiana wasn't calling a timeout on defense to preserve time. Well, now they've got the ball, and it's at midfield, and they've got a timeout in their pocket. And Mendoza to who? Charlie Becker. Once again, down to the 1 yard line. Kalon Black punches it in, and Indiana gets a advantageous score there off the turnover at the end of the half to go up 17-7. This all happened about 38 seconds ago. Indiana under Curt Cignetti is 19-0 when they have a lead at the half. So they get the lead at the half, but they kick off to Penn State to start the second half. The kick went out of bounds. So they started with the 35-yard line. And right away, you can see Penn State was going to be like, hey, let's throw downfield a little bit more here in the second half. Let's see if there's some there. They threw the long incompletion downfield. Then they threw a pretty long play on second down, but it got bobbled, and that's where Aiden Fisher got the interception for the Hoosiers. So the Hoosiers have the ball at midfield here, and they have a 163 point differential on the positive side in the second half, number one in the country. So they're getting ready. It looked like at this point, Indiana might steamroll Penn State at this point. There was the 4th and 1 down to the 15. Kobe Martin, a freshman, gets the first down. And at the 14-yard line, that was under review. And by the way, I thought that was a very favorable spot for the Hoosiers at that point. But they do have to settle for a field goal because Penn State's defense, again, there were times they really put the old chin strap on and gave Indiana fits. So Nico Radicic had to settle for a 31-yard field goal, and now Indiana is up 20-7. So they could have broke the game open at that point. They didn't, had to settle for 3. So that was a win for the Penn State defense. Again, Penn State starting to throw the ball downfield a little bit more with some success, but then that next drive stalled. Ryan Barker has to come in and kick a 36-yard field goal to make it 20-10. So they're within 10 at this point. This was 3:36 to go in the third quarter. Indiana gets the ball back. Charlie Becker, again, we had 6 catches, 101 yards. He was amazing, had an amazing catch, first down on a 3rd and long situation. Mendoza was hit on the play. He was just throwing up a prayer on that play. Got it completed on the right sideline. It was incredible. But Indiana kept finding themselves in 3rd and long. They went for the kill shot on this next play. They threw, I believe it was to Cooper downfield. No, maybe it was Becker. It was Becker down the left sideline. Incomplete. And Mendoza just missed him. He threw it earlier than I think he heard footsteps on the pass rush. So Indiana had to complete because it was there. He might have even scored on that play had he been able to get it to him. So Penn State has the ball at the 15-yard line. Again, it's still a 10-point game at this point, but Trevor Pena, who was pretty good again all day, had a 20-yard catch, first down. Nicholas Singleton, boom, 60-yard run down to the 2-yard line. Pons with an amazing tackle right there, but then Singleton had a 1-yard loss, but then IU was offsides on the substitution, and then Singleton ran it in for a 1-yard touchdown on that drive. So now we're at 11:36 to go in the fourth quarter, and Penn State is within a field goal, 20-17. Next drive for Indiana. Keep in mind, Penn State's got all the momentum here. Indiana needs to put a drive together and get this crowd out of it. And Mendoza throws an interception. King Mack, grab it. I'm not even sure what Mendoza was looking at on the right sideline because the receiver was not open there. So now Penn State has it 1st and 10, down by 3 on the IU 44-yard line. And it seems like now they're just getting 4, 5, 7 yards every time they run the ball. They did have a false start because they're trying to run quick up tempo. They had the momentum right then and there. But then they find Gruckemeyer finds Singleton for the touchdown on a little toss. And all of a sudden, with 6:27 to go, Penn State has the lead 24-20 at home against the undefeated Hoosiers. Penn State's still looking for their first Big Ten win of the season. The crowd's going nuts. They've been waiting all season for this. And so Indiana gets the ball back. Mendoza finds Becker for another catch, his 6th of the day, but then he was sacked. Now Indiana's 3rd and long, 3rd and 11. They got to delay a game. Now it's 3rd down and 16 from the 32. They have to end up punting the ball away, down by 3 with 4 minutes to go. Indiana's undefeated season is looking pretty bleak at this point, to be honest, and everybody's kind of feeling it at Penn State. So Penn State's got the ball at the 30-yard line. They get a first down conversion. They're burning clock. I mean, this game was just about, the nails were going in the coffin at this point. There was the 3rd and 10. IU calls their last timeout with 2:09 to go to try and preserve it on the other side of the 2-minute timeout. And then Indiana makes a stop, and Penn State has to punt. They boom like a 63-yard punt. It's a touchback, Indiana on their own 20-yard line. We're inside 2 minutes to go. They're down by 3. And Fernando Mendoza puts the drive in. Well, first play got sacked, lost 7 yards. So now they're down to the 13-yard line. Big first down play to Omar Cooper, who was really warming up here in the second half for 22 yards. E.J. Williams for 13 yards. Now we got 1:17 to go. Omar Cooper was open on a pass play. Mendoza missed him, but the clock stops. And then they get the 29-yard pass play to the 24-yard line to Riley Nowakowski. That was a big catch right there. And then Charlie Baker gets a gain of 8 yards on a catch, 8-yard gain with 48 seconds to go. Indiana is sitting up at the 8-yard line. It was a 17-yard pass play. They get to the 8. It's first and goal, Indiana, down by 3, out of timeouts, and they get it down to third and goal. And then the catch of the year, catch of the decade, as far as I'm concerned, Omar Cooper, as Mendoza kind of half thrown it away in the back of the end zone. Cooper comes down with it. He's coming down, and his right foot is about to hit out of bounds, but he gets the left foot down with the toe. Boom, touchdown after a long review. 36 seconds to go. They said it was good. Boy, that was a long review, but every angle, it was good. Throw of the year, catching it. That was your Heisman moment. They always say you need that big highlight that everybody's going to see. Fernando Mendoza has been among the Heisman leaders with Vegas odds. That was the moment. That was the moment right there. And Indiana takes a 27-24 lead. I was a little surprised, to give you my opinion on these things, that they did a squib kick on the kickoff at that point with a few seconds left. Why give Penn State any field position at all? Because the field goal would have tied it. And ultimately, Indiana holds on to win 27-24 and another heartbreaking day for Penn State. Unreal, an unreal day so far today. So here's what we're going to do. I want to get your reaction with mine as well. The comment section, we'll get it fired up. We got some other games going on in the Big Ten as well right now, because we're live here on a Saturday going into a Sunday. Rutgers is up 14-10 on Maryland as we speak here with 4 minutes to go in the half. And Ohio State, which actually trailed 3-0 at Purdue going into the second quarter, leading 27-3 in that game. Plus, we got to preview the big game at Iowa today, Oregon at Iowa, because that's going to have huge playoff implications in the college football playoff rankings. We will do all of that as we continue here with our live podcast, post-game reaction. What a day it's been. Plenty more to get to. All that coming up right here in 1 minute on Locked On Big Ten Live. Well, first, I want to tell you about DoorDash, one of our sponsors here. You know, it's the weekend, and it's time to crown the MVP. I don't know if to give it to Omar Cooper for Indiana or Fernando Mendoza for that throw and that drive for the win against Penn State. I'll give it to them both. They both delivered when it mattered, just like DoorDash does. And just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order, these players delivered when it mattered most. Absolutely. I'm still shaking my head at that catch, that throw and that catch at the end of the game as they delivered. DoorDash delivers on Saturdays, and with DoorDash Streaks, you save every Saturday that you order. Stack them all up, like Indiana, stacking up wins, now 10-0. DoorDash Streaks, you save every Saturday that you order up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order every Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period good through November 18th. As we continue here on our live version of Locked On Big Ten, I'm going to recap a couple other things, and I want to get to your comments on this amazing Indiana win at Penn State. By the way, we are going to go live again later on tonight, right after the Oregon-Iowa game, which is getting underway right now. Got to mention the USC win last night against Northwestern. They won 38-17 to improve to 7-2 to stay alive in the playoff chase. Jade Mayava, 299 yards passing, 482 yards of offense for the Trojans. King Miller, another great job for the walk-on freshman, 127 yards and a touchdown. But a couple of notes here, and we'll discuss this more. A lot of people are talking about. So USC ran a fake punt in the first half. Well, their backup quarterback is Sam Heward, Brock Heward's nephew. But before the game, they switched them to the jersey number 80, the jersey number. They changed them. And, you're allowed to have the same jerseys because that's the way it is in college sometimes. So same number as the punter. So they roll out. Northwestern thinks they're going to do a regular punt, but now it's the backup quarterback in a different jersey, almost like a disguise. But it was legal because they had noted it at the last edition of the roster before the game. Sam Heward was listed as number 80. So they got a quarterback wearing the same number as their punter. He goes out and throws a pass completion for a fake punt. All perfectly legal, by the way. And then there was a point in the first half where the game was tied at 14 in the first half, and it looked like Jade Mayava had thrown a pick six to Northwestern defensive lineman Najee Story, and he's huffing and puffing and getting to the end zone. And right before he gets to the end zone, Mayava never gave up on the play. Kept running after the guy, tackled him, knocked the ball loose, goes out the back of the end zone. It's a touchback. USC gets the ball back. They end up scoring a touchdown to go up 21-14, and that game was never the same after that. Meanwhile, we told you about Ohio State at Purdue. Ohio State looks like they'll finish that. They'll be 9-0 with the win today. We mentioned the Rutgers-Maryland game, and also we are getting ready as we speak to kick off the Oregon-Iowa game. Number 9 Oregon, number 20 Iowa. We'll go live after that one. But again, I'll tell you, Trojans fans, you're probably big Oregon fans today. I think you want Oregon to beat Iowa so that Oregon remains a strong top 10 ranked team for when you play them later on. And I know USC has both Iowa and Oregon. You think you just take care of your business, you'll be in the playoffs, right? As a 2-loss team. It'd be much better for the Trojans to beat a top 10 Oregon team if that's the way it plays out. Then say if Iowa beats Oregon today, Oregon falls into the teens in the rankings, Iowa moves up into the teens in the rankings, and then I don't think you get enough bang for your buck if you beat one or both moving forward. So that's my opinion on that. Inclement weather in Iowa today, too. Should be a fun game. That's probably in Iowa's favor, to be honest with you. Washington is at Wisconsin. That's kicking off in about an hour as well. So we'll have a complete post-game reaction on that later on today. Wisconsin with a disastrous season so far. They did announce, Chris McIntosh did announce that Luke Fickell will return next year as their head coach. Meanwhile, Washington coming off a pretty good win over Illinois a couple of weeks ago. And then our night game tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific on Fox. Nebraska is at UCLA. Nebraska has to go in there, coming off the home loss to USC. Going to have to play the game without Dylan Raiola, who broke his fibula last week, had surgery. Everything went good this week. He said he tweeted out a picture of himself in the hospital. So, but they'll have to move forward this year with TJ Lateef, a freshman quarterback. Meanwhile, Nico Emialava for UCLA. They're going to be at home at the Rose Bowl. They had a bye week after losing to the Indiana Hoosiers by 50 points the week before. So that's a quick peek at what's coming up here today. Again, we're going to go live later, but right now I want to get your post-game reaction on the Indiana game at Penn State or any other game you're looking forward to. I always hear from Ducks fans here at this point, no matter whether they're playing or not, but they are. Let's see. Brian, big question mark, Indiana. Yeah, it's just like you're speechless. I get it. Survive in advance from Brian. And Don says Indiana survived just like they did at Iowa. Good teams find ways to win when they're down. They did it. Think about it. Even at Oregon, and Joel Klatt mentioned this on the broadcast today. He said, look, there was a point it looked like they could be in control of the Oregon game at Autzen Stadium. And then Mendoza threw a pick six, and the game was tied, I think, with like 6 minutes to go. He then marched the Hoosiers down on like a 12 or 13 play drive. Here today, he throws an interception, but he's cool. He's calm. He gets the ball back, leads them on a game-winning drive. The guy is cool under pressure. There's no question about that. Angry Karen checking in. Amazing last two catches by Indiana. Brandon, Indiana for the win. Stephen Wells, what an amazing catch by Cooper and awareness of where he is on the field. Absolutely. Also, let's see here. Heel came down out of bounds, clearly incomplete, according to Screaming Squirrel. No, it didn't. And first of all, I'm of the opinion he got the whole foot in. But on a toe tap, you just have to get the toe in. Then the heel can come down, and it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's a catch. 1,000% that's a catch. That's just how the rule is. Let's see here. Who thought winning at Penn State wasn't impressive? On today's environment, And with today's, with Penn State today, the way they played, that was an impressive win. That absolutely was. Let's see here. Someone said Mendoza's Heisman moment. Yeah, I said it. Everybody's saying it. That was it. Wrap it up, right? That was pretty good from Jock. So a lot of you, more of you guys coming in here. They look unbeatable as well, according to Richard. I think Bama playing that schedule is definitely better. An SEC fan thinks Alabama. Look, you could make an argument. I think everybody's talking about, hey, what about Texas A&M, who's ranked third? Alabama's ranked fourth. I think the argument is Alabama. They got 4 ranked wins this year. That's more than anybody else. I think they could be ranked higher as well. Let's see here. Here's a negative, Nabob. Stop with all the Heisman moments at Penn State. No head coach and only 3 wins on the season. And it's a horrible take. Here's the deal, Richard. You're wrong. You're wrong. Mendoza, that's all you're going to hear on talk radio this week is the Heisman for Mendoza. You're just wrong, but you're welcome to your opinion. Let's see here. They dodged a bullet there from Don. Yes, they did. And Naptown, you're right. Indiana has never won at Penn State. Never. So there they had it. It was pretty good. All right, keep the comments coming in. We are going to take a look at what we're going to do later on today. I'll get you filled in with some times and a quick peek at next week already. We're moving on into this season. Thank you for all your comments. I appreciate it. I love the real-time live post-game reaction, raw and unfiltered. That's always pretty good. All right, we'll take a look at what's coming up next, and I'll tell you about our second podcast live that we're doing here later on today after the Oregon-Iowa game. All that coming up here in a minute on Locked On Big Ten Live. Let me tell you about SupplyHouse. If you're in a business where you need parts or your jobs don't get done and then you're wasting money, SupplyHouse is where you need to go because they can have all the supplies. You can get next day delivery with SupplyHouse. Check it out at supplyhouse.com. I'm going to give you all the details here, but they can have, they got like over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Again, next day delivery is possible as well so that you're not just sitting there losing money. They also have their Trademaster perks. You can join for free the Trademaster program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use the promo code SHColleges5, number 5, for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service at supplyhouse.com. All right, thanks for checking us out here on Locked On Big Ten Live on a Saturday going into a Sunday. All right, so we're going to go live again in about 3 hours, right after this Oregon at Iowa game, which I'm very much looking forward to. That'll be coming up in just a little bit. In fact, it's starting right now, or it has started actually. Let me see if I can get a quick little score because I've been doing this podcast and scoreless. It's just underway. So we'll check that out. And then a quick look at next week's schedule. By the way, those same Oregon Ducks hosting Minnesota on Friday night under the lights. Saturday, Wisconsin is at Indiana. That's a noon game on the Big Ten Network. Number 21, Michigan at Northwestern. That's at Wrigley Field, by the way, at noon on Fox. Iowa is at USC at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. I think right off the top of my head, that's probably the game we're going to go live with after next week, Iowa, USC. Penn State's at Michigan State at 3:30 Eastern, Maryland at Illinois at 3:30 Eastern on FS1. Purdue will be at Washington at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific on FS1. And UCLA is at number 1, Ohio State, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on NBC. All right, now, if you're new here, we're here every day. Now, we go live on Saturdays. We're not live during the week, but we're here with multiple podcasts every week. All things Big Ten, all 18 teams with news, with analysis of that news, opinion of that news. We're never afraid to give you our opinion on any of this. That's why we do it. It's a lot of fun. We get your opinion and your takes as well. But if you're checking us out, you're a Big Ten fan. I know that. You probably know other Big Ten people. Let them know we're out here every single day. Your former roommate, your family, your friends, Big Ten alums. Let them know we're out here. Hit that little share arrow and send this podcast their way so they know what we're doing here every day. And if you're new, hit that free subscribe button so you never miss a single episode, or at least we let you know when we're coming out with a new podcast each and every day, first thing each day. Also, I'll let you know that you college football fans at Locked On and Fire TV present the College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll from Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation along two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson and former college star Jesse Holley as well. And then all of our Locked On experts come together as well. It's a college football preview that only Locked On can do. So catch the College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season only on Fire TV. All right, that's it for us for now. We're going to be back in about 3 hours doing this again after Oregon, Iowa. That game has huge playoff implications from the Big Ten. We will take care of all that. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday and your weekend as well. For Locked On Big Ten Live, I'm Craig Sheeman. We'll talk to you later.